And now,
Getting
down,
getting
down
with Disco and
Brian.
Yeah!
All right,
Welcome to this show.
getting down.
You're getting down with Disco right there.
And Brian is right there. My hands floating.
She has disembodied hands. Okay. Disco,
that okay?
That is great. Disco Ball and Brian here are going to be boosting, hopefully, our picks in the upcoming Pennsylvania primaries. We're calling this show the Pennsylvania Blues.
Why the blues?
Because we're going to keep Pennsylvania blue, turn Pennsylvania
Oh,
blue
God.
from red to blue.
That's good.
Isn't that
Sorry, I'm an idiot.
You know, it's a music
the music
and
politics combined.
based show. So we're fusing music and politics together with every breath. Not entirely, but we're going to try to make...
And why is that?
Because fascism is on the rise, and it's coming for our mamas and our babies, and we have to make sure that it does not. And the only way to do that is to make sure that we elect the strongest pro-democracy candidates.
And the way that we do this
is
by...
the way we do this is by making sure that we're registered to vote and making sure that we register and vote for the most progressive candidates in
Us Fest democracy parties, roving registration drives and rallies, disguised as raves.
That's our vision. So
Okay,
registering
but we don't
people to vote and hopefully leveraging all of that Coachella power, right? Hello, Lizzo. Hello, Cardi B. Help us make sure that democracy is saved and strengthened in 2022 instead of what all of the sages are predicting is inevitable, which is a fascist takeover and the end of life on Earth. So,
And
okay,
fascism. Okay. You're going on the fascist.
that's on another
Like-
show. On this show, there's no doom, okay? There's
Yeah, but
only
we
hope.
might not know what fascism is, so maybe we should use another word.
Okay, fascism. Yeah, we should use another word. Okay, right-wing ideology. Handmaid's Tale. That's more of a popular thing. We don't want that. We're trying to do everything we can to be as 180 degrees diametrical to the Handmaid's Tale as a culture as possible. Right? Disco Ball, you watched Handmaid's Tale.
Yes. I'm just okay. Well, as we go along, we'll dive into what we mean by things not being democratic anymore.
Correct. Yes. And for instance, you did watch Handmaid's Tale. I
Yes, I
couldn't
did.
watch it. It was terrifying. It just made me too depressed.
Yeah.
And you know,
I mean, as women are losing their rights to have abortions, that's a potential, place that this could go, and women are forced to have babies and produce for the dude at the top, whatever.
right.
Okay.
Again,
So, do you want to go and start the show?
I think we're starting the show.
And why are we starting with Pennsylvania?
Well, because you, Disco Ball, are from Pennsylvania.
And it's a very purple state.
Indeed,
Correct?
it is.
So
Indeed
it has
is.
the possibility to go either way.
Which is why we need the strongest candidates possible to be elected in the primary.
And we're
which-
not really focusing on, so we're focusing on the primary, and this is an opportunity to elect the most progressive candidate.
Look at the camera.
I'm looking at you too.
You can look at me, but it freaks me out. Yes. So we're looking to elect the most progressive candidate in Pennsylvania. And we're going to start with District 3, which is a Philadelphia district. Disco Ball lived in that district.
3. Where is that in Philly?
I don't know.
Anywhere in Philly? I
It's
lived all over Philly.
you definitely lived in District 3 at one point. So Disco Ball
Yes.
Yes. What do these two songs have in common? You know, you are.
Anthony, you make my dreams. Mhm.
Well, no, because you're from Philadelphia,
Oh,
and
okay.
you're from Pennsylvania, and who else is from Pennsylvania?
I guess they are.
Correct.
I didn't know.
Joan Jett and Hall & Oates are from Pennsylvania, and the year that they made those songs was
80s,
the first year of the 80s.
81,
Well,
80.
1980. Yes. And 81 is when those two songs hit the #1 slot in the Billboard charts. Two Philly bands. Philly was on fire that year. It was the year Reagan was elected first for his first term. And guess what? It was also the year that this man, Congressman Dwight Evans,
Oh, wow.
it was the first year that he became a state representative for Pennsylvania, representing Philly, I presume. I didn't go that far back into his history, but yes, he has been a staple in Pennsylvania politics since those two songs were #1 hits, which again was the year Ronald Reagan was elected president over Jimmy Carter, and the beginning of the end of American democracy, unless we do something about it. So, yeah. So this guy who is pictured here, his little profile pic with the kids is adorable. He definitely looks, kind of like Biden looks around kids, very corpse-ish in juxtaposition to the children. And, very good branding. You would want to have a theme of like, hey,
Oh, there he is in the picture.
He's
You
very,
can see.
see him back there
Yeah.
behind the children. He's there being very,
Smiling.
friendly and, kind of like grandpa in a home where,
Okay.
you go and visit him and he, talks about your record players or something. But, I mean, good branding. Let's see how many followers he has here. 20,000. 20.5K followers, okay, on his Twitter account. So he's, he sponsored a wealth tax bill with Elizabeth Warren, which is great. I mean, Ways and Means Committee. He's a member of the Ways and Means Committee. He's been there forever. He's not the worst thing in the world if we're going to compare him to the alternative, a Republican, right?
Is there any chance that there could be a Republican?
Not a chance in hell. It's the bluest district in the country.
Really?
Pennsylvania District 3. Yes.
Philadelphia's
Philly District 3.
the
bluest
bluest
district
in the country.
So his primary challenger, Alexander
Okay.
Hunt.
Alex, what has she got to say?
Let's find out. Here is a clip from the Majority Report. Let's check it out.
So I worked in college, and I actually started out, I was working as a server, and I just wasn't making enough money to be substantive to paying my bills and buying books and normal expenses that you have as a student. So I started to look for other ways to make good money, and it dawned on me that I've heard you can make a lot of money as a stripper. And so I started to look into that and started to work at a club. And that was, I did make good money. I also learned a lot about how to raise money, which is something that we're proving we're doing very well on the campaign trail. So there is a transferable skill set from stripping to running for office. I think that they tried to shame me for it, and they just took an angle that we pretty much inoculated ourselves against by being forthcoming with this fact that, yes, I worked as a stripper, and that doesn't make me any less of a candidate.
Right, and I appreciate how you kind of owned it, and you talked about how you would not be a corporate whore, essentially, or well, I forget the exact phrasing of the shirt, but it's pretty great to get out ahead of it, because papers like that will try to run with the scandalous headline when the real scandal, obviously, is that a significant majority of our elected representatives do not respond to their constituents. They respond to the people that pay for them. And of course, you're not taking any corporate donations. So can you talk a little bit about that decision?
Yeah. So the phrase is, I may have danced for money, but I'm no corporate whore. And that's the t-shirt and sweatshirt that we've been running with. And the basis of that is we're a fully grassroots campaign. We're only taking money from everyday people. And while we've raised over $500,000 with over 9,000 donors, our average contribution is $36. It shows that we are backed by the community. We're making honest money, whereas my opponent is one of the majority in the Democratic Party for taking corporate money, and has almost boastfully said in interviews that he only answers to his donors. He only answers to his corporate donors, and that's how the people who put him in that seat. And that leads to deep neglect and a lack of resources in the community, which is what inspired me to run in the first place.
Right. Dwight Evans, you're primarying him. What are some of the positions that he holds that are contrary to the ones that you're running on?
For starters, overturning Citizens United is an important piece. And if that happens, he won't be able to have a campaign because he doesn't know how to run with the community support, only the establishment support. In terms of environmental justice and climate action, he does not support the Green New Deal. And you can follow the money trail and see that he's personally invested in the fossil fuel industry and ExxonMobil. For universal health care, which is something that we absolutely need, especially in the middle of a pandemic. He's backed by private health insurance companies and big pharma, and cannot support Medicare for all because of that. With education reform, something that I'm very passionate about because of my parents being teachers, and that I know this is the pathway to opportunity for young people. He has defunded our public schools and founded his own charter school. And so it's really just a matter of his stances differ from ours, because if you follow the money, that's how he reached his stances.
What do we think? Disco?
Okay, Green New Deal, and then is Green New Deal still a thing? Like it's like still in the...
Definitely. I mean, it's a thing that we have to achieve somehow, or we're doomed. So, I mean, not really an alternative
and then
to
there
it.
was the other thing that he said. She said that Green New Deal, and then there was the other thing that follow the money.
Yeah, I mean, she's...
the charter school thing.
Charter
so
school.
He's pro-charter school.
So Dwight Evans founded his own charter school. That's how committed to charter schools the man is.
Yeah, I think it was cool that she's her parents are teachers.
Right? And does she have the best swag of 2022? I would say so. This is definitely...
So she has a background as a stripper and a pub, working in a pub.
Was once a waitress and decided she could make more money as a stripper. So, kind of like a very popular rapper these days. Cardi B! Cardi! You and Alexandra Hunt should be getting together. You should be showing out for your sister down there. Because we know Cardi B loves Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. But Alexandria needs Alexandra to help her, soar and throw out the septuagenarians like Congressman Dwight Evans. So if you are in PA 3, May 17th is primary day. While we can, if you can, vote for this badass Alexandra Hunt, because we need more women. After all, since this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, as we've been promised.
Let's make that new golden age dawn.
And how will Alexandra help that new golden age dawn? Well, let's look at our key issues page on our website here. And and just go through some of the top tier items.
Okay, most importantly, number 1, women's rights.
Supporting every person's religious freedom and right to choose. She's a major proponent of reproductive justice, advocates for
Affordable health services during and after pregnancy. She's a survivor of sexual violence herself. She can identify with others who have faced violence and abuse. And in Congress, she would carry that experience to ensure our laws allow women to live freely without threat of violence.
Criminal justice reform, committed to ending mass incarceration. She supports ending cash bail, ending the death penalty, increasing compassionate release, ending mandatory minimums, and closing all for-profit prisons.
Economic justice, because the disparity between the richest and the poorest communities continues to grow year after year.
And of course, as we just heard, Medicare for All is one of her major items. She believes in the public health sector and has seen firsthand how our for-profit healthcare system pummels families through Philadelphia. She, like every sane person who's not bought and controlled by big corporate interests, believes that healthcare is a human right. So in Congress, when we get her there, she's going to be fighting nonstop until we pass a single-payer, high-quality national health insurance program. She'll be dismantling all the current healthcare nightmares, like networks, premiums, co-pays, and deductibles.
Medical debt. It's all that stuff. Education reform. Education is the backbone of a healthy democracy. She'll push for equity-driven and student-focused education policies, invest in public schools, and pay our teachers a livable wage, and make schools the center of a thriving community.
She is putting the Black American agenda first as well, because reparations has been a thing that people who are the descendants of slaves who built this country have been promised for way too long, ever since they were set free, which was how many generations ago? It's far past time to complete this journey and deliver transformational, enduring compensation for descendants of slaves and lift up the Black community.
Keeping our streets safe and ending gun violence. We can fix that. Gun violence is preventable and must be put to an end. We can all feel safe walking around our streets.
About housing as a human right, Alexandra's worked to help the homeless who formed an encampment on JFK Boulevard in Philly and has dedicated herself to ending homelessness.
Immigration reform. Alexandra is committed to dismantling systematic barriers to the American dream, which is why she will fight to end xenophobic policies that criminalize immigrants, asylum seekers, and refugees.
Justice for tribal nations. Alexandra stands with the Native American communities in their struggle to protect their treaties and sovereign rights, pass on traditional and cultural values, and improve the quality of life of their Native communities.
Freedom of religion. Alexandra is committed to fighting against the threat of anti-Semitism, white nationalism, and Islamophobia.
Environmental justice. Urgent action is needed to rescue what might already be unrescuable. So there's no time to waste. Get her into Congress, because Alexandra believes in science and all that data that shows that we are out of time. So get her in there. She's going to fight to bring federal funding back to Philadelphia to cool off all those treeless areas that so desperately need trees.
LGBTQIA rights. In Congress, Alexandra will vote to pass the Equality Act and other bills with similar objectives. She will ban conversion therapy and guarantee transgender affirming health care.
Lastly, but not leastly, aging populations. Alexandra believes our aging populations have earned and deserve the opportunity to age with dignity. That means protecting Social Security at all costs and expanding care under Medicare. And she has a great ad. Let's check this ad out.
Do you know what it's like to live in the shadows? Do you know what it's like to be held down by shame? Do you know what it's like to be failed by our systems? What if we built an America where no one felt they had to live in the shadows? What if moms didn't need to suffer in silent fear that their sons might be shot for wearing a hoodie? What if hardworking people weren't shamed because they need a little more help to make ends meet? What if we didn't accept that our education system has to be so unequal? What if we had a government that sees us, hears us, and puts us first? My name is Alexandra Hunt, and I'm running for U.S. House of Representatives in PA3 to create a compassionate government that fights for everyday people, not corporations. We can do it, but we are almost out of time. Change is desperately needed now. Philly, let's do this. I'm asking for your courage and for your vote.
So that's
I like the word empathy. Empathetic.
empathetic, empathy, crawling out of the shadows.
What are you gonna do for me? Are you gonna liberate us, girl?
Not being
From there?
second-class citizened by
What?
white male corporate oppression.
Corporate oppression. Fear of a female planet.
So yeah, get out and vote for Alexandra Hunt. Going back to
Why we're all here today.
the good old.
Those guys are still alive, right?
Are they?
They are. They're still alive.
She's a man eater.
And she definitely still plays shows.
She plays shows with Kathleen Hanna still and stuff. Okay, so why not have a Not Me Us Fest democracy party for Alexandra Hunt in Philadelphia District 3? This is what we're talking about, folks. Okay? So, I mean, potential Philadelphia headliners, bands who could get in on this and assist our sister, Alexandra Hunt, and make sure she wins, right? Coachella just happened. Festival season is alive. I mean, Hall & Oates, Joan Jett.
Yeah, me.
Come on. We know your heart. We know you're anti-fascist. We know you're wealthy and established, and you've got a lot of money and a lot of clout, and you know a lot of people. You're both from Philly. You both know that Alexandra Hunt is the obvious choice that we need to strengthen democracy, right? She's young, right? She's closer in age to the children that Congressman Dwight Evans is surrounded by, right? So, like, come on, guys. Do you want to go to the next one? Hall & Oates. Who else is from Philly? Questlove and the Roots are from Philly, right? Jill Scott is from Philly, right? Bradley Cooper. Think of these Venn diagrams. Little Uzi Vert could get all of hip-hop there. Patti LaBelle is from Philly. Tina Fey. I mean, Santa Gold. She's from Philly.
Sense.
All the weirdos can come with Santa Gold, right?
Man played with her. Or no, members of Man went on tour with her.
Okay.
Man's from Philly.
Man's from Philly. I didn't put them on there. Erykah Badu is from Philly. Come on. Artists. War on Drugs is from Philly. Seth Green.
The animator.
The animator
Or the director
of many things. Diplo. EDM. God of, Eve. Eve could bring along Gwen Stefani, who she
Or
did
Adam.
that huge, or Adam. And Kevin Hart, knows everybody else. Crystal Waters. Da-da-dee-la-dee-da. Da-da-dee-la-dee. Come on. Right?
Come on, throw it all together. We got a festival going on here.
So imagine,
Let's build some hype
right?
for Alexandra Hunt.
The mission of this channel is to manifest Not Me Us Fest democracy parties, which are nothing more than the reviving of those beautiful concert rallies that Bernie was having right before COVID struck, right? What we're trying to do is to connect. Oh, you're continuing the list.
Yeah.
So that's good, Disco Ball. Thank you for reminding us. Pink is not technically from Philadelphia, but she's from damn near close.
Ween is not technically from Philadelphia
From
either.
New Hope, but real close. right?
Yeah.
Think of all the people that would come out for a festival like this to get people motivated to vote for the only candidate anybody should be voting for in District 3, Alexandra Hunt, right? And on top of it all, the cherry on top, even though she's not from Philly, right, is Taylor Swift. She is from Pennsylvania. She's from Wyomissing in West Reading, a borough of Berks County, Pennsylvania. Technically born in District 6, but it's Swift's, where she was born, Taylor Swift, is currently represented by Democrat Chrissy Houlihan, and that is going to be a very tough district to hold on to. So coming up in the general, Taylor Swift could play a major role in making sure that her home state stays blue and strongly blue, and so could everybody else in this list. Despite whatever happens this primary, this is the kind of party that we could have to give, I mean, everybody from boomers to Gen Z a reason to come out, care about politics, and make sure that democracy is saved and strengthened. Because, again, imagine this lineup compared to whatever's going to be at the Trump rally, right? As good as he's going to get is, I don't know, Kid Rock or something, right? Like one or two people that may or may not have made a song 20 years ago that someone might have cared about. I mean, this is, you have that, and then you have this list, which is the entire canon of American culture. So, I mean, again, how's it going to be funded? Disco Ball and I certainly can't do it, but we know that Hall & Oates, Joan Jett, Questlove, The Roots, Tina Fey, War on Drugs, and Kevin Hart, and Pink, and Taylor Swift have more than enough connections and money to make this happen than we could have ever dreamed of. And this is that little secret, that little truth that everybody, when you articulate these ideas, realizes, oh my God, you know, that you really got something there.
I have a question though, like Alexandra Hunt. So she's running for Congress, correct?
She's running for the House.
The House.
Yes.
So what would be the importance of her getting into the House?
I mean, she would be...
And the House is where, who else is in the House now? Like with AOC?
She'd be with AOC and the squad, and she
Yeah.
would add to that and
Yes.
build that momentum and build that energy.
It's kind of like AOC's story. It's like a very similar story to AOC. It's
Exactly.
like we have a person that's running against somebody that's been in office for so long, and they're like this, like
Entrenched.
yeah, like almost it would be impossible almost.
Yep.
For her to win.
Yep.
But if she did, it would be this AOC kind of story, and she is from, you know, like working class situation and
Yep.
a very real upbringing with teachers as parents, and you know, I guess she is very pro public school education and saving the environment and all of these things, which young people care about a lot because they are the ones that are going to have to be living in this dreadful environment if the environment goes to shit.
Yeah.
So
If we have an environment.
if we have an environment, most people want to live. I mean, the old people don't care that much, but we and, you know, younger people than us, I think they do, which is nice.
I mean, again.
Happy
I mean.
Earth Day.
Yes. Yeah.
Vote for Alexandra for Earth Day. Do it for Mother Earth.
That's right. And again, we have then Dwight Evans, who, you know, good guy. Again, I'm sure good guy, but, you know, you've been in politics since 1980. It's just inevitable that you might just happen to be a little bit corrupt. Okay. And as Alexandra said, bought and paid for by the industries that control Congress. So yeah, a lot longer, you know, she's going to be around a lot than this guy who's, you know, nearly dead. But not true, but, you know, he's...
All right, it'd be
not-
nice to have like new you know, and plus it's not about age. It's about, well, yeah, it is about age in a way. Because people in the younger generation, people have different things that they care about. Environment and the survival of democracy is kind of important to younger
Everything.
people.
Yeah, everything.
I wonder why. But yeah, I think.
But who has the power to capture the imagination of the voter? No one has more power to capture the imagination of the voter than the people that write the Netflix and Prime and HBO series and perform in those shows and make the music that we've all been addicted to for our entire lives. Everyone who's living right now, right? Again, what is most crushingly insane and makes me want to poke my eyeballs out is that we are losing a culture war to people who despise American culture, right? We need more culture. We need more funky, groovy weirdos in positions of power whose hearts are golden. Okay? That's what we need. That's what we need. We need more people who've done naughty things, right? Naughty things in terms of what, you know, the priests would consider naughty, but haven't raped kids.
Or raped anyone.
Yeah. Or anyone, for that matter, yes.
Yeah.
So let's have more of that. And let's have all the people who make all the music and all the TV shows
and all the art.
And all the
we
art.
have a lot of, we didn't even mention, but, you know, there's a lot of, obviously, if you're from Philly, you know that how many things are going on there. I haven't lived there in a while, but I know when I lived there was Spiral Cube Puppet Theater that I worked for a little bit. And there's like the streets department that's doing all sorts of artistic wheat pasting and organizing, and there's a mural arts department and mural arts.
There's beautiful murals everywhere.
I think there's the most murals in Philly than there is any other city.
Combining all those artistic forces with those entrenched, established, you know, icons of American music.
Combining that with, like, let's say a parade of some kind, you know, with the Spiral Cube puppets. They used to be parading with gay pride and
come on.
Actually, any political protest. You would in Philly, you would see giant paper mache puppets that really drew attention, and you know, and it's kind of like putting on a political puppet show in the middle of the street.
That's it. So let's go. Let's elect Hose. Come on.
Elect Hose.
Elect Hose.
Alexandra Hunt.
Alexandra Hunt. PA3. Get out there and vote your asses off for her. Okay, dance your ass off too while you're voting. Bring one of those Bose pills in there and be playing some Cardi B while you're voting for her. And Cardi B, get your ass to Philly and help your sister Alexandra Hunt win against Dwight Evans, who is going to have a beautiful retirement and has all these adorable children who are just dying to sit on his lap.
Okay. So what's going on the next episode?
On the next episode of Getting Down with Disco and Brian, we're going to go to the west side of Pennsylvania and look at two very important primaries there, and encourage you to vote for the right candidates in those elections. Or should I say the left candidates, not the right ones, but the right ones that are left.
One has an accordion.
That is the one we don't want to be voting for. We'll share that with you later. Tomorrow, actually, because this has been so much fun. Disco and I are going to be doing this every day.
Oh, God. I don't think so.
We're going to try, and I'm going to... She might divorce me if I push too hard. But anyway, has this been fun, Disco, for you? So
We'll see how it turns out. I mean, if it sucks, then I will have to say that it was not fun.
So artists unite. Artists are more impactful and powerful than pundits. Whomever you love the most, who's your political go-to talking head, they ain't got the power of the musicians and the artists and the filmmakers. They just don't have the same power. And we're not here to worship celebrities, by the way. That's not what this is about. Okay, so for those of you who are like, you're a shit lib, you just want to worship the millionaires.
That's just bullshit because, I mean, come on. Everybody likes listening to music.
Yep.
Music takes us on a journey. Music, changes our mood. What would life be without music?
Right. And if you know people who don't listen to music, if you're one of those people, you're sick. There's something wrong with you. If you're not moved by music. Yes, I'm talking to you, Vosh, and Hassan Piker, who's continually said over and over again, I don't have time for music. I never listen to music. I only listen to political podcasts when I'm working out. It's like, and then of course, now that he's a multimillionaire and he has a $3 million home and he flew in a private jet to Coachella because that's just how socialist or something he is. I don't know. Now all of a sudden he goes to Coachella, which is a celebration of music, and all of a sudden did he experience music? Does Hassan Piker now like music all of a sudden because he got flown in a private jet to Coachella? Is that what it's going to take for you people that don't like music? You need to be flown in a private jet to Coachella to enjoy it, to understand why it matters? Anyway.
Schitt's Creek. There's like, I was just listening when he's like, oh, I like nature. I've gone to Coachella. Like, I've gone to Coachella like every year. Of course, I like nature. Love that.
Yeah, he's great.
If you want to like, just not obsess over stressful things, do that. Go to Coachella.
Okay?
Right.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We love you.
We love you. Soon we're going to be bold enough and brave enough to do this live. Oh, why do we have this on? It should be on ourselves.
Okay, but also, we only have you.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, damn it. Should have done that before. Anyway, we're learning the equipment. This should say down here. It should say Brian and Disco, but it doesn't. That's Disco right there. All right.
Okay. So.
Okay, thanks so
Bye.
much. Bye-bye, guys.